Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Kate Fenske. I am the CEO of Downtown Winnipeg BIZ. And welcome to the Forks, where the two rivers meet. And I would say for downtown, it is where people come to meet, to connect, to gather, where business, art, sports, and culture all come together. So thank you for joining us today for this very important announcement. Before we begin, I want to honor the sacredness and importance of this land and of the ancestors that once walked where we are standing today. The Anishinaabe, the Innuit, the Dene, the Dakota, the Inuit, the Anishinaabe nations, and the Red River Métis Nation, who paved the way to what is now known as Manitoba, home to all treaty people. At the Downtown Winnipeg BIZ, we promote, care, and advocate for a vibrant and inclusive downtown where business thrives and people are drawn to live, work, study, and visit. We know that a thriving downtown full of people can only happen if folks feel safe in the community, which is what brings us here together. Today's announcement marks an important step in our collective and ongoing efforts to protect and support the people of Winnipeg and everyone who is here and visits here. We're proud to be doing this work together and excited to share what's coming next. So on that note, it is now my pleasure to welcome the Honorable Premier of Manitoba, Wab Kinew.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. As we begin, I wanted to take a moment to thank the brave school resource officer as part of the Brandon Police Service who responded to a really terrible, really awful situation at Neelan High School in Brandon earlier this week. Your quick thinking, your decisive action, your compassion really prevented a bad situation from becoming potentially even worse. And you're a hero, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to acknowledge your remarkable courage and your good work. It's really important that we preserve in our public sphere the ongoing thank you to the folks in law enforcement and those on the front lines for the amazing work that you do to keep the rest of us safe. And so I want to make sure everybody on the front lines knows that you're valued by your government and by everyone in the province of Manitoba. Today we're here to announce an investment of $500,000 into the Downtown Community Safety Partnership. This is a reflection that we believe in DCSP and the important work that they're doing. As I just stated, we've got a ton of respect for the work that law enforcement does, that the fire and paramedic service does here in the city of Winnipeg and other agencies across Manitoba. And to have that fourth layer of response from DCSP to help address situations before they escalate to potentially a criminal situation is exactly the kind of progressive policy that we need to keep people safe in Manitoba. In government, we always say that we're tough on crime, but we're also tough on the causes of crime. And by working with DCSP alongside law enforcement, we can make sure that when a police officer shows up for those situations where a police intervention is needed, that we also have a different kind of response that's more tailored to other situations in our community that are begging for some kind of positive response too. And so to stand alongside our partners from other governments, other community organizations, and to announce this joint investment, it's really a positive step forward. You look around, this is a beautiful time of year and a beautiful part of the country. And we want everyone who comes to downtown Winnipeg to feel safe, to feel happy, and to enjoy a Manitoba summer. Winnipeg's downtown is Manitoba's downtown. And whether you're here because you're on vacation, because you're enjoying an afternoon in the sun, or maybe even because your family has been displaced by wildfire, you deserve to feel safe. And when we see people in the community who are experiencing distress, whether that's from addictions or mental health, they deserve to be safe too. And so we're really just trying to tailor the response to make sure that everybody in the community gets what they need while we're making the most of our Manitoba summer. So to those on the front lines, thank you for your service. Thanks for stepping up day in, day out. And to the people of Manitoba, let's have a great summer together. Miigwech merci. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier. And since day one, the Premier has been so supportive of downtown and also committed to safety across the province. So thank you for that. Now it's my honor to introduce another committed person who we've had many conversations with regarding safety in downtown Winnipeg and how we can work together on that. Our next speaker, the Minister of Justice and MLA for Concordia, Matt Wiebe.
Thanks, Kate. Thank you and good morning. Great to see everybody here today. I'm so pleased to be here to speak about this year's Downtown Safety Summer Action Plan, a collaborative initiative that's based on last year's incredibly successful Summer Action Plan. This will be a united effort from June to October this year that's being led by the province of Manitoba as well as the City of Winnipeg in partnership with emergency services, with community organizations, and with frontline teams. Our mission is clear: to create a welcoming and safe and vibrant downtown where everyone feels supported. Summer is short in Manitoba, and we all want to make the most out of it. Downtown is especially bustling with activity, with festivals, with live music, with plays and concerts, and we want people to feel safe on our streets here in the downtown. And now, with even more Manitobans staying in Winnipeg due to evacuation from the devastating wildfires, it's even more important that we enhance our security measures, we promote a safe environment to protect those visiting and living in downtown Winnipeg. As outlined in our public safety strategy, our government is committed to ensuring downtown Winnipeg is safe and it's a welcoming place for all. We're proud to continue to support the Downtown Community Safety Partnership with this new investment of $500,000. As well, our government has funded 12 new police officers with the Winnipeg Police Service who graduated last week and have hit the streets of downtown to help keep people safe. Working closely with the WPS, we're ensuring there is that unified and effective response to criminal activity. As mentioned, we're partnering with DCSP, who are able to deliver a coordinated response that addresses the health, well-being, and safety of the downtown community. This initiative is more than just about enforcement. It's about connection and collaboration. It's about working with our partners like the DCSP to create that downtown where people can feel safe to live, work, and visit with confidence. I want all of Manitoba to know that we're committed to making Winnipeg's downtown a safer place by continuing to be tough on crime and tough on the causes of crime. Let's continue to build a downtown that's accessible, that's safe, and that's welcoming for everyone. Let's make sure that it's a vibrant hub that welcomes folks from both inside and outside the province, a place where business can flourish, and a place where those who are the most vulnerable get the supports and the care that they need. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Wiebe, for your strong support and commitment to protecting the well-being of Manitobans. And it is now my pleasure to welcome yet another downtown champion, His Worship the Mayor of Winnipeg, Scott Gillingham.
Thank you so much, Kate, and good morning, everyone. Thank you, Premier Kinew and Minister Wiebe, for your ongoing commitment to Winnipeg and to Winnipeg's downtown, and to working with community partners to make our city safer and healthier for all. This morning, when I arrived at work at City Hall, there was a man on the sidewalk right outside, basically outside my office, who was obviously struggling. He wasn't committing a crime. He appeared to be, moving and talking, but he obviously needed some help. He didn't need a police response, so I didn't call police. He didn't need a fire paramedic response, so I didn't call the fire paramedic department. I called our security team at City Hall. They said, we'll call DCSP, and they did. It's these kind of partnerships playing out in real time that make sure individuals within our city who are struggling are getting the help that they need. Thanks to the Downtown Community Safety Partnership and the Downtown BIZ for the work that you do on our streets and in our community every day. I saw it play out in real time through a call that I made today. There's real excitement in the downtown right now. We have new residential, commercial, and cultural development happening all through our downtown. The Sea Bears and the Gold Eyes are drawing crowds. It's festival season is about to launch. Jazz Fest starts right around the corner next week. Fringe Fest just after that. And in a few weeks, Portage-Germain will reopen to pedestrian traffic. We'll launch our new transit network and begin transforming Graham Avenue into a vibrant pedestrian-focused street. Downtown is buzzing, but to keep that momentum going, people have got to feel safe. Whether you're coming to a game, commuting to and from work, or just going for a walk, safety matters. Yesterday, as I was walking to my vehicle, I ran into two people who looked like they were tourists, so I stopped and talked to them, found out that they were visiting here from St. Paul, Minnesota. I thanked them for being here. Downtown needs to be safe for them, who are basically on their own doing a walking tour of all the sights to see in our downtown. And that's why I'm proud to stand alongside partners to support this summer action plan with funding directly from my office. This plan means more patrols for longer hours and more help for people who need the mental health supports, housing, or other services. And of course, this plan is part of a broader public safety strategy that we're all building together with Premier Kinew, Minister Wiebe, and the Downtown BIZ and others. We're funding more officers for the Winnipeg Police Service, created a retail theft initiative, which I'm so grateful that the province has continued their focus on and has funded. We're supporting the ongoing work of Greg Burnett and his great team from DCSP. And I continue to push the federal government to keep working on and fixing Canada's broken bail system. Just this morning, I attended the Winnipeg Police Board meeting where Chief Bowers gave an update on the Manitoba's Integrated Violent Offender Apprehension Unit. It's a unit that is a partnership between the Winnipeg Police Service and the RCMP, funded by the province of Manitoba and the city of Winnipeg. It was also a campaign commitment of mine to reestablish that, because I saw the need to really get tougher with repeat offenders. Since it launched 2 years ago, this unit has made more than 700 arrests in 2 years of repeat violent offenders who are breaching their court orders. That's nearly one arrest a day in our community. Over 85% of the individuals arrested in the first quarter of 2025 were violating or breaching their court conditions. I'll continue to talk about this, that there are too many repeat violent offenders being released to go on to breach their court orders and recommit crime in our city. It's putting people at risk. Our city deserves better. Our city deserves to be safe. So we need real consequences, and we really need a justice system that puts the public and public safety first. When we combine targeted enforcement with proactive community-based safety plans like the one that we're talking about today, we can make a real impact in public safety. Just last week, I met with some business owners in the West End. On my way to meeting with the business owners, I was driving down Ellis and I saw two Winnipeg police officers on foot patrol. They had stopped to talk to an elderly woman. They seemed to be engaged in a great conversation. And as I drove away, I thought, it's quite likely that that elderly woman will go home. If she has family, at the end of the day, and they call her, she'll talk about the two police officers that she met and the nice conversation that they had. I'm confident that her level of confidence in our city has increased because on her commute, on her walk to wherever she was going, she met two police officers who stopped, took the time to talk to her to see how her day was going. It's that kind of community partnership, that kind of blanket of safety that the DCSP, our police officers, and others are providing to make our city safer. So I want to echo the Premier's words and thank the DCSP members and the Winnipeg police officers and others who are doing their great work to make our community safer. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Mayor Gillingham, for your continued support. And now to close today's announcements, I'd like to introduce someone who I first met in 2019 when conversations first started of how are we going to do things differently, in a different way? How do we bring folks together to address safety, to improve safety, and to support people on our streets and in our community? It's been quite the ride, I will say, over the last 5-6 years when we didn't know what Downtown Community Safety Partnership was or what it would be called, but it was really all of the partners here, along with Winnipeg Police Service and Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service, that came together to have the conversation of where are the challenges and how do we solve this together. So with that, I'd like to introduce Executive Director of the Downtown Community Safety Partnership, who's also always here to help whenever needed, Greg Burnett.
Thank you. Thank you, Premier Kinew, Minister Wiebe, Mayor Gillingham, Kate Fenske of the Downtown Winnipeg BIZ for your continued commitment to our downtown. Your presence here today and relentless support shows your dedication to a healthy, prosperous, and safe downtown for everyone. So right from the start, thank you. This is the second year of this program and builds on the success and learnings from last year's Summer Action Plan. Two highlights I'd like to offer together. We connected with hundreds of people and solved needs on the spot. 84% of the people we helped got what they needed right away and right at that moment, and no need to call other sources. We're able to work from their inside. And together we reduced calls to 911 by 220. So those calls that are reduced by our folks allow police, fire, paramedics to do the important work they need to be doing out there. So again, thank you for that. But this has to be more than statistics and data. It's about helping people where they're at and meeting needs proactively. And I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank our DCSB teams and staff that do the work on our streets, back lanes, in the shelters, at the hospitals, on patrol, and on the phones every day. For them, the crisis of homelessness, mental health, and addictions is personal. There are names, faces, families, and stories behind the people, our staff, and other organizations are trying to help. The help our teams provide comes at a personal and sometimes emotional cost, as they come to know the participants and trying to get them from the difficult situations they're in on the streets and into a better, safer, more stable environment. So my gratitude, respect to those community heroes, and I mean heroes, as well as the work of other agencies and people that are trying to make Winnipeg a better and safer place. So I'm honored today to accept the funds provided by Manitoba Justice to allow our organization to expand patrols, improve our abilities, and make long-lasting partnerships with community groups such as OPK, Weegishin, and the Bear Clan Patrol. While unfortunately Mitch Bourbonniere couldn't be here today from OPK, I would like to acknowledge our partners Kevin Walker, the Executive Director of the Bear Clan Patrol, and Joshua Nepanak, the founder of Weegishin, who are here with us today. And if you don't know Joshua, he's a young leader who was inspired to act on the challenges he saw in the community and on our streets in the downtown, and without backing or funding began outreach walks with the goal to make the neighborhood a more inclusive and safer place. Joshua's drive and determination have built a bond between DCSB and Weegishin, and his teams will play a pivotal role in the Summer Action Plan we're announcing today. This is an example of what collaboration, coordination, and communication we can solve some of these challenges. Collaboration is what has made DCSB the strong, responsive, and impactful organization it is today, and these partnerships remain the foundation of our success. And again, thanks to all the folks you see behind us, or me. So again, thank you, Minister Wiebe, and all your team at Manitoba Justice, not only for its contributions to the Summer Action Plan, but for your continued partnership with DCSB. There's much more work to do, and we look forward to working together. And in the spirit of collaboration and coordination, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize, sorry the wind and shaking hands, that have helped to advance our work, including hospitals, shelters, and the social sector. Especially grateful to Minister Fontaine and her team at the Department of Families for supporting our Indigenous Women's Support Initiative. Their investment has allowed us to hire dedicated staff who will provide culturally grounded support to women experiencing some of the most severe challenges on our streets. And you'll see some of them over there. again, Mayor Gillingham, Kate Fenske, for your leadership. Thank you. It's helping coordinate and strengthening responses to these complex citywide issues. And last but not least, I mentioned emergency services. I would like to acknowledge our partners with the Winnipeg Police Service and Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service, who we work with continually, again, on the streets. There's that wind and shaking hands again. I'll leave with thank you. We'll continue to work together. We're going to continue to collaborate. We're going to continue to build something that the city and province can be really proud of. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Greg. And you may have heard the word collaboration. I don't know, we may have hit a dozen, and that's really what it takes to make these kinds of projects happen, and this kind of work that is needed in our province. And one of the things that I'm so proud of is there's no other province in Canada that has a program like the Downtown Community Safety Partnership. People are looking to Winnipeg, looking to our province of how is this work happening? Where are the success stories and how can we replicate it in our provinces? So we've come a long way in just 5 years, and this is another evolution of this program, working together to make it happen. So really we commend the Premier, the Justice Minister, the Mayor, and all of our downtown safety partners for taking quick action. While all of the great programs and the work that are happening with like the food program for children, when we look at those long-term programs, we know that it is going to take some time to see those results. So it's also important that we are doing things right now that makes a difference for people that are visiting downtown, for the businesses that have committed here. So today's announcement is a great example of what we can accomplish when we work together. I also want to thank our team at the Downtown Winnipeg BIZ. Our ambassadors are out all summer. There are so many events happening this summer. We invite you to join us in downtown Winnipeg, and thank you to the Forks and Sarah and her team for hosting us here on this beautiful day. Thank you everyone for joining us, and at this time we'll now open the floor to questions from the media. Thank you.
Mr. Premier, thank you for your investment. Great stuff.
Really, I think it was about preparation for us, making sure we have the time to talk with our folks, get things in place. Again, this year we have OPK, Joshua's team with Ouija and the Bear Clan Patrol getting prepared for what we were eventually anticipating this great announcement. So we've got ahead of the game a little bit. And again, just communication and improving on collaborationships and partnerships. This is new, it's growing, and we look to build on it. So between our teams, and again, we're going to provide the funding to Joshua's folks, Bear Clan Patrol, OPK folks, again, community members and people and groups out there to work together and really share the funding. All our teams, we're up to about 75, 80 people, and that includes our MAC teams, our 24/7, our core team, the social navigators, our Connect, the frontline folks you're going to see out there all the time, and again, our CAN, who takes the calls from the public and dispatches our folks. And again, when we talk about partnerships, that integration with Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service, and again, working with police and all the other groups out there. So there's lots to it. Yes, we're a little earlier. Yeah, for sure. We're going to start a little earlier. We're going to get to work first thing next week and hopefully be pounding the streets in by the 24th. Why is it early? Beautiful weather, beautiful downtown, beautiful city, and we want to be out there helping people as best as we can, as soon as we can.
Besides, I guess, sharing some of the money with other teams, do you have like any specifics on what you might see the funds going towards?
Really, it's just staffing and well, compensation for the work they're doing. I mean, a lot of these folks out there who do this work in the community are volunteers. They're out there doing it every day, and so we're going to help with that. And then what we're really seeing, even from last year, is we're bringing up people through our structures, and they become Connect members or MAC members and all that through the DCSP program, and again, and onwards to wherever they might lead on whatever path or journey they're going. Well, there's always more work to do, but it's improved for sure. I feel it. I've been working downtown for years, if not decades. I feel and sense a vibrancy out there. I mean, there's, again, a lot of work to do, but what I see with these folks behind me doing, again, we look forward to the more foot patrols, and again, it's improving and getting enhanced all the time.
Do some of your members, as part of their jurisdiction, also the encampments and the riverbanks?
As part of our duties, we seek people out where they need help, those most marginalized, vulnerable folks, and if they're in encampment, we will go and help as best we can. There is the Your Way Home strategy, again, directed from the province, and we are partnered and collaborating with those folks as well.
Is the presence of encampments, is it an issue to public safety as far as you're concerned?
I'm not sure I'd call it a concern right now. I mean, those are people who are suffering and they're out there for any number of reasons. We have to do our best to support those folks, and hopefully at the end of the day get them the housing and environment or safer spaces they need. So of course we'd like to work on that, and we'll continue to work on that, but there's, again, a lot of work to do on that.
How do you envision the safety program for the next few summers?
Well, getting bigger, larger, more folks out there. Visibility is a big thing in any organization or any city, I should say. So I'd love to increase the numbers of the folks we have in DCSP and others, and especially from that community-based perspective. I think it was the mayor talked about that fourth alternative dispatch model, if you will, and that stems from community and working with our institutions like police, fire, paramedics. So again, we're building that, and we want to grow it.
At 84% staff last year. So what were the services that were provided in lieu of 911 and police?
So what will generally happen, we deal with folks, again, those most vulnerable, at-risk folks on the streets. So if one of our folks meet them, because we have that continuum of care with inside DCSP, it may be on to a MAC team member, and maybe a drive to a hospital shelter, and maybe to our core to get social navigations, need ID, housing, addictions, programming, whatever that might be, and then keep it all inside and get those folks to those programs and institutions and organizations that provide that kind of programming. So it allows us to do that work, and allows police and fire, paramedic and fire to do the emergency work that they're professionals at. I knew I was going to get asked that when I put hundreds, and I don't have the number on me, but happy to share it after and when I can get that stuff.
Can you jog our memory of how long the program ran?
So last year is 12 weeks. I want to say we started mid-July, and we're actually expanding on that to 16 weeks this year. Yes, you can.
Thank God.
Well done, Greg. Well done.
Good job in the hot seat there. It's the best warm-up act I've ever had. That was amazing, Greg. That was awesome. Well, the work is being done by the people that you see behind us here. There are situations where people are using toxic drugs where we need an immediate response in the form of police. There are other situations where we could consider it's a cry for help, and that's where we see DCSP and Wichi and Bear Clan and all the other great partners out there responding. So we're happy to be a coordinator, a funder, but we got to give the props to the people on the front lines 100% alongside fire and paramedic. Our contribution is 550, 25?
25, yeah.
So it's above, it's closer to
575?
Yep. Good at math.
Oh, no, you guys beat me to it with the calculator there.
Are there any specifics that are involved with this announcement in regards to helping out the evacuees or great to see?
This is part of a coordinated overall approach to improving public safety. You know, last night I was asked about safety for evacuees, and yeah, it's tough when you got people living through a really stressful situation, and then you have really negative elements stepping forward to try and take advantage of that. That's terrible. Nobody wants to see that in this beautiful province. You can't look your mom in the straight in her eyes if you're behaving that way. So let's cut that out and let's focus more on the positive. Like stories that we see across the province, a lawyer moving back into Flin Flon to cook 3 meals a day for the firefighters. That's what Manitoba's about. That's what we need to be celebrating. People in Thompson who are, helping the people who've been in shelter for, it would be day 18 now, I guess, be able to get a ride to the dentist, get a ride to the medical appointment. That's what Manitoba's about. So let's focus on building up the positive. Let's focus on that. And when we talk about DCSP and Greg's statistics here, 84% of calls are dealt with right at that level there and don't need to be escalated. That's amazing. If my, kids came home with 84%, we'd be going to Boston Pizza. So, great job.
Greg, you're taking.
Is that an invite to Boston Pizza? I guess I got to pick up the tab now.
Mentioning forest fires.
Yeah.
I think yesterday we were saying some hotels aren't really pitching in, helping evacuate as much as they should. Can you expand on that? What happened?
Well, I saw it with my own eyes in Thompson yesterday. The congregate shelter in Thompson, people have started turning the cots and Red Cross blankets into dividers to set up rooms there. You've got families with young kids. I'd invite any parent out there to think about trying to raise a 4-month-old and a 4-year-old sleeping on a cot for now going into day 18. And I would invite you or anyone else to go Google Thompson hotel rooms right now. You'll see that you could book some rooms for the next week. So the hotel industry as a whole, has been amazing. People have stepped up. We've got thousands of rooms keeping people safe and sheltered and fed. It's amazing. And I don't do this lightly, we are asking some in the hotel industry to step up with a little bit more. And in particular, when we see some of those situations where families with young kids who have been in a cot for more than 2 weeks now, and they're probably not going to be able to go home for another week, if not longer. If I'm Googling open hotel rooms, less than a kilometer away from that shelter, I think there are some folks who could step up and just contribute a lot more. Because we are seeing Manitobans step up, volunteering, safety, dropping off donations, right? So a few among us who, let's be honest, this is not charity we're asking for. You're getting paid for those rooms. You're getting paid to provide a service. I'm just inviting you to maybe match the commitment we're seeing in some other sectors of your same industry.
In terms of that compensation, would hotels be getting paid the same amount to house an evacuee as they would to
We're the government. We're not getting any deals. You know what I mean? People see us coming and it's like, oh yeah, the government rate. Yeah, we're gonna add a little bit to the fee we charge you. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that in a lighthearted way because I want people to understand the tone that I'm bringing forward here. This is not like, us trying to be heavy-handed or whatever. It's just us being that neighborly Manitoban and saying, hey, listen, some of our neighbors with kids are in cots right now. Short distance away, there's open hotel rooms. We're willing to pay for those rooms. Let's just come together and sort through this issue. It's not going to be open-ended. We're talking about maybe another week, something like that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
emergency powers could be put into place if hotels aren't agreeing to this? What circumstances would dictate that?
Well, the first step is always just to say, hey, got that warm and hearty handshake, let's work together. Again, you're going to be compensated for the service that you provide, and it's in the name of a good cause here. It's helping people out through a very stressful situation. So let's work together on that. Ben 84%, c'est incroyable ce qu'ils ont fait juste pour... Le DCSP a réussi à résoudre 84% des appels juste à ce niveau-là. Moi, je pense que c'est incroyable. Alors, cet investissement avec la ville de Winnipeg, avec le monde d'affaires, pourrait créer un autre été merveilleux pour tous les Manitobains et Manitobaines. What would have been the best day to start it? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me. CBL? Yeah, I mean, like, let's look at the BIZ, let's look at the city, let's look at ECDEV Winnipeg, Tourism Manitoba, and just all the great organizations, the Bombers, True North, Sea Bears, Jazz Fest, Folk Fest, everything that the Forks, right? Thanks for hosting us. The amazing job that they do this summer. This is about making sure Manitobans are safe, right? Like, that's the primary focus here. This is about making sure that somebody who's going through a cry for help can get the support that they need when they need it. This is about making sure that somebody who needs to be held accountable because they're doing something bad in the community is going to be held accountable. But if we can make this investment together and also make sure that those great events we have this summer are going to be that much more successful, all the better. So I think it's very important that we use the term supervised consumption site, right? Because there's a lot baked into all of what's going on here. Fundamentally, what we're talking about is saving lives, right? And so the idea of supervision, that makes it healthcare. Somebody's in one of these proposed sites, they're there with a nurse. They're there with a nurse practitioner. No one has ever died in Canada in a supervised consumption site, and that is the primary reason that we're entertaining it. Then we're talking about consumption. It's just the fact that we don't know what sort of substance people are going to be bringing in there. So again, what we're talking about is it's an extraordinary step to respond to the extraordinary crisis that we have with toxic drugs. What you're talking about is effectively a small area where there's going to be a different standard for intervention with people who are addicted. And the standard there is going to be 100% about healthcare and tying people into recovery, trying to get people on a path to being well, but importantly, making sure that somebody can stay alive long enough so that they can go to recovery. So that's going to be part of the overall response, but we're taking time to listen to the community. There's a site that's been proposed. There's been a lot of media attention to the back and forth, I guess, pro and con of that location. And before we move forward with a specific building and service rolled out in any location, we're going to take the time to listen to those voices in the community. But we're going to move ahead, and it is going to have to be located somewhere. This is going to be in someone's backyard, and the primary reason is humanitarian. We've got hundreds of people in our province dying every year. We're doing the harm reduction, we're doing the law enforcement, we're doing the prevention work, we're doing the recovery. There's one tool here that doctors are telling us would save lives that we're not currently using right now. So in the name of trying to keep people safe and keep a few more of our fellow Manitobans alive, we're gonna move ahead with that too. You know, don't go to the sports betting websites with this, but I foresee a Grey Cup being raised by the Bombers, and I'm seeing the image now, a Stanley Cup being raised by a Jets team in our near future. CBL championship for the Sea Bears too. Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of great things in our sporting future. On a more serious note though, I guess one of the evolutions from last year to this year is that when we're talking about the investments in WPS, last year we were buying overtime from officers, and that was important to just respond to the safety needs, but we got to think about work-life balance, we got to think about family time for the people on the front lines. And so this year, instead of using that overtime approach, we've just gone to permanent funding of police officers. There's 24 additional officers already. 12 of them started this past week, I believe, who are part of this response focused on downtown. There'll be 12 more this fall focused on the bail supervision piece that the mayor's talking about. So there is a natural evolution from one year to the next. And so I think when we look ahead to the fall, our hope is that on the law enforcement side, as those 12 additional officers come online, that it's going to be a more of a permanent, long-term intervention. And then when we're working with DCSP and the other folks doing the on-the-ground patrols, that we're going to continue to be there to support the need that exists. Yes. I think that everyone in Manitoba has the opportunity to voice your opinion about the role that law enforcement can play in community policing, and school resource officers are a part of that. But at a very general level, I would say this. I've had 3 kids go through the public school system. One of them's about to graduate. One's going to, he's elementary school, right? So he's got many years ahead of him. And when there were school resource officers, I, as a parent, thought it was great. I went to high school hockey games, and I'd stand there and talk to the SRO. I went as a MLA to hand out certificates at grade 6 graduations at a school that's like less than a kilometer away from where we are right now, and the SRO was there handing out certificates as well. So I recognize that there's always a long-term reevaluation of the nature of how we work in community and what the education system is going to be all about. But in my personal experience, I've seen that SROs are a positive for my kids' schools and the schools in my community. And when we see a heroic action like we saw in Brandon this week, then it really speaks to another dimension. Because part of, I think, the rationale for SROs has been that community relations side of thing, building a relationship between young people and the policing service, which is absolutely essential for the success of law enforcement. No matter which community you're in, law enforcement has to have a relationship with the community. But then the other piece is the same that we ask of law enforcement in any setting, which is when there are people doing things that require an immediate intervention or require accountability, then they're going to be there to lead that response as well. So again, I'm offering a perspective as a parent. I'm a parent who happens also to be the premier. So I'm not necessarily going to be directive about these views, but that is my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, you can attribute that to me. Wait. Oh yeah, of course.
I have an unrelated question about Happy Lamp Pool.
Okay.
There was a protest yesterday over there. The people were asking for the opening of the pool. Last year in the budget, they announced the closing of the pool. What's happening with that pool, and what do you have to think to the people who protested yesterday?
Yeah, last year through our budget process, we made the difficult decision to not put more funding into the capital upgrades of the Happy Land pool, because every asset, every City of Winnipeg facility, it sometimes comes to a point where it's better to no longer make the investment, but to move on to something else. And Councillor Mattillard and I are having conversations with others, including the local MLA, about what could be. We put funds into the budget actually to explore creating a whole new pool, a whole new aquatic expansion there in St. Boniface to serve the needs of the area. Part of the City of Winnipeg assets, you have to think back to pre-Unicity, the late 60s, early 70s. In 1972, when 13 municipalities came together to form Unicity, each municipality brought with it its assets, its pools and arenas. And so, St. Boniface had many more pools than a lot of the other areas. Well, a lot of those are now aging. We're making significant investments in the Bonnie Vittel pool. That's been a project that has taken many months, years, and that's a significant upgrade to that pool. We've made investments in other pools in the area, but we made the decision last year, as difficult as it was, to decommission the Happy Land pool, and I don't see us reversing that decision. I would just add, you asked a question maybe about safety in the downtown, whether we know it's getting safer. Just in the last few weeks, the Winnipeg Police Service released its most recent crime statistics that show over the last 2 years, crime in the downtown has decreased by almost 10%. Now, none of us is taking a victory lap because 2 years is not a long-term trend, but it's moving in the right direction. Really the goal with this initiative and this investment by the province of Manitoba, largely, and my office in the Downtown BIZ, is to continue to see that good work and that good movement of making Winnipeg's downtown safer continue. So this is an intentional investment to continue to make our city, especially in the core area of the city, safer.
I'm just wondering, are you able to break down the patrol numbers? Is it 12 that were already online and 12 more that come online?
Yeah, that's my understanding. So the province has made investments over the last several years, and so there were already 12 that had been, brought on stream. There's another 12 that graduated just on Friday that will be deployed to the downtown. I think the Premier said 36.
Yeah,
Total?
12 more this fall.
And 12 more this fall. Yes. In addition, the city of Winnipeg, we in our budget, we're adding 36 more officers as well, which are separate from, over and above what the province has invested in. So there is, you can see, again, the collaboration, the shared vision of making Winnipeg safer for all. I think with the coordinated, work that we're doing here, and really what we're doing is, some of this coordination has been happening for months. I want to give Greg Burnett, a visionary, credit for he and Chief Christian Smith of the Fire Paramedic Service, and now Chief Bowers and others have this vision of working together. They've been working together. We're going to formalize that. We're working to formalize that in what's called the Safe Winnipeg Initiative. And so by coordinating all of the different agencies, Winnipeg Police Service, DCSP, community safety officers on transit, the BIZ patrols, Bear Clan, OPK, all the others, by coordinating all of them, we're really aiming to achieve a blanket of safety in the downtown. So whether or not we need more police officers in the future, that can be determined at a later date. But really it's about coordinating all these great agencies who are doing good work in a way that we identify the gaps and eliminate them, and identify the overlap and eliminate that as well. Okay, thank you.